Hello and welcome to our second video on transformations of functions, where we will apply these and draw them into graphs so we can better understand its concept. Let's start off with a very simple example. Our primary function is f of x equal to x squared. And we transform this into f of x plus 3. Or, let's call it g of x. This is our new transform function, which is x squared plus 3. So, vertically shifted upwards by 3 units. Let's draw our function. This is point 0. This is our x-axis, and this is our y-axis. So, in our original function, this is a parabola that passed through point 0, 0, and goes like so. And in our second function, since we've transformed it to move 3 units upwards, we just move the vertex 3 units upwards, so 2y equals to 3. And then we draw again. This is our new function. This is f of x. And this is g of x. Let's continue with a more challenging example. Let's start off with the same function, x squared, as the most common function to transform. And let's say our transformation is minus 2 f of x minus 1 plus 3. So, how would we graph this? Well, first of all, let's call this function g of x, and let's define it. This would be minus 2 times x minus 1 squared. We substitute the value here into our x and square it, of course, and then we add 3. This will be minus 2 times x squared minus 2x plus 1 plus 3, which will give us minus 2x squared plus 4x minus 2 plus 3, which is equal to minus 2x squared plus 4x plus 1. So this is the function we're trying to plot. So what we have here are combined transformations of functions. We have our reflection on the x-axis, we have our vertical stretch, we have our shift to the right, and we have our translation up. While we do not know how to graph this function right here, we do know how to graph our parabola. And then, by doing so, we just transform it. So let's begin with drawing our graph. Here we have our x-axis, and our y-axis, and our 0. The first one, our parabola, is like so. This is f of x. And now, since it is a combined transformation, where do we start? Well, first off, we must start by what is inside the parenthesis. Then we move on to the reflection. Then we do our stretch, and finally we move it 3 units upwards. It is a bit like BIDMAS. You start with the parenthesis, then the multiplication, and then the addition. So let's move our function 1 unit to the right. This would be 1. Let's say this is 1. Let's do this. This is our first step. Our second step is to reflect this on the y-axis. And this is just done by flipping this to here. So That is our second step done. Now let's apply our vertical stretch, which is by a factor of 2. This will make our function more narrow, so it will be something like so. And finally, we have our translation 3 units upwards. So if this were at 0, now we are at 3. And we can draw our function. G of x would be the following. This is our g of x. It is reflected on the y-axis, on the x-axis, sorry. It is narrowed by a factor of 2. It is shifted to the right 1 unit, and it is shifted upwards 3 units. That is our total transformation. Thank you for watching. I hope this visual representation has helped you more in grasping the concept of function transformations more clearly. Remember, the more practice, the better you will be at this. So try applying these transformations to different functions and see on your own how they change. See you on the next video.